Ryan opened his eyes to a soft light that hummed gently around him. The air smelled metallic, clean but unfamiliar. He tried to move, but his body felt heavier than usual. The last thing he remembered was drifting alone in his small transport ship after a routine cargo mission. Something had gone wrong, though he could not remember what. He tried to recall details, but his mind felt hazy, as if someone had erased them. The room he was in was wide and smooth, with walls that seemed to shimmer like liquid metal. Strange symbols pulsed along the edges in soft blue light, almost like breathing. Ryan sat up slowly, testing his strength. His legs wobbled at first, but he managed to stand. He realized his clothes had been replaced with a light gray uniform that fit him perfectly. On the chest was a symbol he did not recognize, a circle divided by 3 lines. Before he could take another step, a door opened with a quiet hiss. A tall figure entered. Her skin was pale with a soft golden glow, and her eyes were a bright green, almost luminous. She wore a long robe with patterns of stars embroidered along the edges. She stopped a few steps away and looked at him with a mixture of surprise and something else he could not name. "You are awake," she said in a voice that was clear and soft, yet firm. "I am Princess Aira of the Soralith. I have waited for this moment for a long time." Ryan frowned. "Princess, I think you have me confused." "I don't know you." Aira shook her head gently. "No, Ryan, you do know me. We met many years ago, or at least your other self did. You saved my people once. You stood with us against the darkness that threatened everything. You promised to return if we needed you again." Ryan stepped back, his mind racing. I think you are mistaken. I have never left my colony system. I am a cargo pilot. I have never fought in a war or saved anyone outside my own people. I don't even know what darkness you're talking about." Aira's green eyes softened, but there was an urgency in them. "It is not a mistake. Your memories have been blocked. Something hidden lies within your mind. It is why your presence here feels strange to you. The Soralith have long waited for a human like you." Ryan felt a chill run down his spine. Humans were supposed to be explorers and traders, but never heroes of interstellar wars. He rubbed his temples. "I do not understand. Why me? Why would someone hide my memories?" Before Aira could answer, a group of figures entered the chamber. They were tall like her, but their robes were simpler. Each carried small devices that glowed faintly. They approached Ryan, examining him carefully, whispering to each other in a language he did not know. He felt their eyes on him like they could see through him, and a wave of unease washed over him. Aira stepped forward. "These are the council members. They will observe, but do not fear them. They have only your safety in mind. You carry knowledge you cannot yet remember. It is dangerous even for you." "Knowledge?" Ryan asked, confused. "I don't have any knowledge of this. I only know what I have lived myself." "I don't understand what you mean." One of the council members, an elder with a silver streak in his hair, spoke in a calm voice. "The human mind is different from ours. Your species has a unique strength. You remember only the life you live, but somehow you carry echoes of other paths, other possibilities. You were part of a cycle we tried to erase, and yet you remain." Ryan's head spun. He wanted to ask more, but the words refused to form. His chest felt tight, as if a storm had settled inside him. He did not understand how he could carry memories he had never lived, yet the weight of those words made his own life feel small and fragile. Aira moved closer and placed a hand on his shoulder. Her touch was warm, almost grounding. "Do not be afraid. You are not lost. We only wish to help you remember what you must. There are forces in the galaxy that still seek to destroy what humans and Soralith together can protect. You have the power to stand against them." Ryan shook his head. "I am just one person. I do not know anything about the galaxy beyond my job. I am not a hero." "I am not—" "Do not say that," Aira interrupted gently. "You underestimate yourself. Humans carry a resilience we cannot always explain. Even when the cycle tried to erase your part, you survived. That is not accidental. You are more than your own life. That is why you are here now." The hum of the chamber seemed to grow louder as Ryan's mind struggled with the words. He remembered glimpses, flashes of strange worlds he had never visited, cities under stars he had never seen, and faces he could not place. He blinked rapidly, trying to focus. Each fragment was fleeting, gone before he could hold on to it. "Do you see?" Aira asked. "You remember in pieces because your mind is protecting you. But these fragments are important. You must learn to trust them. Trust yourself. Only then will you know the truth of your past and the strength of your present." Rian's fear battled with a strange curiosity. He wanted to run, to escape the confusion and return to the life he understood. But another part of him, something deep inside, wanted to reach for the truth. Ira's presence, the calm certainty in her voice, made it hard to ignore the pull. "Why do you need me now?" Ryan finally asked, his voice quieter. "If this is all real, why now?" Ira's gaze was steady. "Because the darkness has returned. It has waited, hidden among the stars, and it knows you are here. Your presence is a beacon, Ryan. You are the one who can help us stand again, not just for my people, but for the galaxy. And this time, you will not be alone." The council members remained silent, watching him carefully. Ryan could feel their judgment, but it was not hostile. They waited for him to understand. For the first time, he felt the weight of his life expand, as if the boundaries he had known were only the beginning of something far larger. Rian took a deep breath. He did not know what lay ahead, and his memories offered no comfort. Yet something inside him, a spark he had never felt before, whispered that he could not refuse. He would need to uncover the truths hidden in his mind, even if they were dangerous, even if they revealed who he truly was. He looked at Era and nodded slowly. "All right, I will try to remember. I do not know what is waiting, but I will stand with you." Era smiled softly, a mixture of relief and hope shining in her eyes. "That is all I ask. The rest will come in time. You are stronger than you know, Rian, and together we will face what comes." As the chamber doors closed behind the council members, Rian felt a strange calm settle over him. His mind still held fragments he could not understand, but for the first time he felt a sense of purpose. Somewhere deep inside, a part of him already knew that this was only the beginning of a journey that would change not just his life, but the fate of the stars themselves. And in that moment, Ryan realized that being human might be more powerful than he had ever imagined. The morning light on the alien station was unlike anything Ryan had ever seen. Soft rays of violet and silver filtered through the wide windows, casting long shadows on the smooth floors. He walked beside Princess Era, his steps echoing lightly. Though the station was calm, an invisible tension seemed to linger in the air. "You will need to see the archives today," Era said. "There are records that may help you remember parts of your past. They are not complete, but they may guide you." Ryan frowned. "Archives? You mean like a library?" Ira smiled faintly. "More than that. The Seralith keep knowledge of all the worlds we have touched. Some of it is dangerous for humans to know, but some of it may belong to you. You must be careful." They reached a large chamber where tall shelves curved into the walls like the ribs of a great beast. Holographic lights floated above the shelves, displaying countless histories. Ryan felt a strange pull in his chest as he stepped forward. Names, dates, and images flickered before him. Some familiar, others completely alien. "Look for what feels different," Era advised. "Do not try to understand everything at once. The fragments will come to you in pieces." Ryan moved cautiously. He let his hand hover over the glowing images. One caught his attention. A planet with silver oceans and jagged mountains. A battle was frozen there in time. Humans and alien warriors stood together, fighting creatures that seemed to shift like shadows. Ryan felt a shiver run down his spine. He did not remember this, yet a part of him knew he had been there. "What is this place?" he whispered. Era appeared beside him, her green eyes steady. "You were there? Not this life, but another. You led the humans and Seralith together against a darkness that threatened both your world and mine." Ryan shook his head. "I don't understand. I was never there. I've never left Earth. I have no memory of this." Era put a hand on his shoulder. "Your mind hides things for your protection. The events are real, but they belong to another cycle of your life. You carry echoes of them, which is why the Council and I waited for you. You survived when others could not." Ryan's thoughts raced. Could this be a dream? A hallucination? Yet the feeling of recognition in his chest was undeniable. Every image, every figure tugged at something deep inside him. He tried to pull away, but the images kept flashing like firelight reflected in a mirror. "You must not resist it," Era said. "The fragments are not dangerous on their own. They will guide you toward understanding yourself and the role you were always meant to play. Humans have a strength no other species carries. Even when you cannot remember, it survives in you." Ryan rubbed his temples. "Strength? I am just a pilot. I know how to navigate ships and deliver cargo. I'm not a soldier, not a hero, not anything important beyond my own life." Era shook her head. That is what you do not understand. Humans adapt. You survive. You fight when others would fall. That is why you are here. That is why you remember in fragments. You are more than one life. The council members arrived quietly, observing from the edges of the room. They did not speak, but their presence made the air heavy with expectation. One of them stepped forward, a tall figure with silver eyes. Do you feel it? The elder asked. The truth hidden in your mind, Ryan? I feel something, Ryan admitted, but it does not make sense. I am not supposed to know these things. They are not mine. The elder inclined his head. They are yours in a way you cannot yet understand. You carry knowledge and experience from cycles that were erased for safety. You must remember, for the danger that was once defeated may return. Your understanding may be the only thing that can stop it. Rian looked back at Era, seeking guidance. How am I supposed to remember what is not mine? How do I know what is real and what is just my mind pretending? Ira's gaze was calm but intense. The fragments are real. They belong to you in a sense that goes beyond this life. They are pieces of a whole that your human mind cannot fully hold yet. You will remember when the time is right, and the pieces will form a picture stronger than any single memory. Ryan swallowed hard. He felt the weight of her words pressing down on him. Every image he had glimpsed in the archives, every memory he could not place, seemed to grow heavier, almost alive. The room spun slightly as he struggled to breathe, overwhelmed by the fragments of a life he could not claim. Era reached out, placing her hands lightly on his arms. Do not fear the fragments. Let them guide you. The darkness will sense them, and you must be ready when it comes. Your human mind can do what others cannot. That is why you are chosen. For the first time, Rian felt a strange courage rise inside him. It was not the confidence of someone who had faced battles and won, because he had no such memories. It was the courage of someone who knew that he must face them anyway, even without knowing how. Show me, Ryan said quietly. I want to see more. If these memories are real, I need to understand them. Era nodded. Very well. But be careful. Some fragments may be painful. They are not just memories. They are echoes of lives lost and battles fought. They will test you. They walked deeper into the archives, where the holograms shifted from peaceful worlds to scenes of conflict. Ryan's stomach tightened as he saw humans and Suralith fighting side by side against creatures that seemed to be made of shadows. The humans wore armor that looked familiar, but his mind insisted it was not his own. A sudden vision struck him sharply. He saw himself standing on a cliff, holding a weapon he had never touched in his life. He shouted commands to a group of Suralith warriors. They moved with perfect coordination, trusting him completely. He had no memory of how he knew the strategies, the timing, or the tactics, yet it felt as if he had always known. He gasped, stumbling back. I don't understand. I have never done this. Why do I remember it like I did? Era caught him gently. Because you did. Not in this life, but in another. Your human mind carries what we cannot. You were part of a cycle meant to be erased, yet you survived. That is why the darkness fears you even now. Ryan felt fear and awe mixing inside him. He was only a simple human from a small colony, yet he had lived lives across the stars that he could not claim. The thought was dizzying, but also strangely comforting. Perhaps he was never meant to be ordinary. Perhaps humans were always more than they appeared. Will I ever remember everything? He asked, voice trembling. Era smiled softly. Not all at once. The fragments come in time. You must be patient and open to them. And when you are ready, you will see the whole picture. Then you will understand why you are here and why humans are unlike any other species in the galaxy. Rian nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her words sink in. He looked around the vast archives at the countless lives, battles, and worlds that seemed to whisper to him. He did not understand it yet, but a spark of determination flared inside him. If these memories were real, if this darkness truly existed, then he would face it. Not as a cargo pilot, not as an ordinary human, but as someone who carried the strength of lifetimes. And for the first time, he felt that being human was more than a simple life on one small planet. It was a force, a resilience that could shape the stars themselves. Ryan followed Princess Era through a long hallway lined with lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. He felt a strange mix of fear and anticipation. Each step seemed heavier than the last, as if his body sensed the importance of what awaited him. Ira walked with calm purpose, her gaze steady. You are ready now, she said. The chamber we are going to will help you remember. Not just fragments, but the full truth of who you are and what you have done. Ryan swallowed. Full truth? What if I cannot handle it? Ira shook her head gently. Humans carry strength that others do not. Even when you feel weak or afraid, you endure. You are ready. Trust yourself. The door at the end of the hall slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, the chamber was round and empty except for a platform in the center that glowed faintly. As Ryan stepped onto it, a cool sensation spread through his feet and legs, climbing upward like a gentle tide. Era stood nearby, her hands folded. The chamber will help you reach the memories that have been hidden. You may see things you do not expect. You may feel fear. Remember, they are part of your life, part of your human strength. Ryan nodded. He felt the platform hum under him. A soft light enveloped him, and then his surroundings changed. Suddenly, he was no longer on the platform, no longer on the station. He was standing on a world he had never visited in this life. The sky was dark, streaked with glowing lines of energy. Cities burned in the distance, and the ground shook beneath him as creatures moved across the land like shadows with claws of fire. Ryan's heart raced. He wanted to step back, but his body refused. He realized he was not watching this world as an outsider. He was part of it. His hands itched with the memory of weapons he had never held in this life. He could see the soldiers around him, humans and Saralith, moving as if following his command. He opened his mouth to speak, but words of strategy flowed naturally, as if he had always known them. Orders, formations, and plans came to his mind effortlessly. Fear battled with recognition. How could he know all of this when he had never been here? Yet every decision, every movement felt right. A voice echoed across the battlefield, commanding him to act. Ryan obeyed automatically. He felt a strange pride as his team moved with precision, defeating creatures that seemed almost impossible to fight. And then the memories deepened. He saw himself leading assaults on enemy strongholds, saving lives, and making choices that had consequences far beyond the battlefield. The images changed suddenly, showing loss. Friends, humans and Saralith alike, falling in ways that tore at him. He felt their fear, their pain, their trust in him. A grief unlike anything he had known filled his chest. He stumbled and fell to his knees in the vision, yet even in this he saw the strength humans could hold. He had endured, and he had survived. Ryan gasped and opened his eyes. He was still on the platform, but his body shook from the intensity of the memories. He felt older, stronger, but also burdened with knowledge he had never wanted yet could not ignore. Era knelt beside him. "Do you see now?" she asked softly. "This is who you are. Not in one life, but across cycles. You carry strength, courage, and wisdom from experiences meant to be forgotten. That is why the darkness fears humans." Ryan struggled to stand. "All of this? It is real, it happened, and I am supposed to carry it inside me?" "Yes," Era said. "You remember the victories, the losses, and the choices you made. Humans have a resilience that allows them to endure knowledge and suffering that others cannot. That is why you survived when so many were lost." Ryan looked down at his hands, still trembling. He did not feel like the man who had entered the chamber. He felt larger, older, and yet more fragile than ever. "But why me? Why was I hidden? Why were these memories blocked?" Ira's gaze was serious. "Because the memories are dangerous. Not to you, but to others. To know them too early could awaken forces that were defeated long ago. The cycles were erased to protect the galaxy. But humans are different. You can bear what others cannot. You can carry the forbidden knowledge and still act with reason. That is why you are here now." Ryan tried to understand. "So I was always meant to be a part of something bigger than myself?" Ira nodded. "Yes, and now the darkness has returned. It waits in the shadows of the stars. Your memories, your knowledge, your courage, they are needed again. You will not be alone, but you must understand who you are first." The chamber hummed again, and another wave of visions came over Ryan. This time, it was not only battles he saw. He remembered moments of peace, of laughter and friendship with people in Saralith he could not name. He remembered being celebrated after victories, teaching, learning, and forming bonds that transcended worlds. The full depth of his experiences washed over him, leaving him exhausted and enlightened at the same time. When the light faded, Ryan collapsed to the floor. Hera caught him, supporting his weight. "Do not be afraid of the knowledge inside you. It is your power. Humans can hold what others cannot, and that is why you are special." Ryan closed his eyes, taking in her words. "I feel so much." Pain, loss, joy, hope, all at once. How can one person... You are not just one person, Era said. You are a human. You carry more than one life because your species is meant to endure and rise, even when everything falls. That is the gift of humanity. He took a deep breath, letting the realization settle. He had lived more than one life, faced unimaginable dangers, and survived. Humans were stronger than he had imagined. Even in moments when he felt weak or ordinary, he carried the resilience and courage of countless cycles. Now you understand why the Council and I sought you, Era continued. The darkness will come, and when it does, you will be ready. You remember not just to know, but to act, to protect what is valuable, to fight when others cannot. Ryan nodded slowly. He still felt the weight of the memories pressing on him. But now it was not fear, it was purpose. He understood that his life, his species, and his strength were connected to something larger than himself. He could no longer see humans as simple beings of one life. They were capable of carrying hope, courage, and resilience across time and space. Then I am ready, he said finally. I will remember. I will act, and I will not let what was lost be lost again. Era smiled, her eyes reflecting pride and relief. That is all I asked. You have seen what others cannot. You carry what humans are meant to carry. And now, Rian, you are ready to face the challenges to come. The galaxy will test you, but you will endure. Ryan stood tall, feeling the strength of countless lives flow through him. The forbidden memories no longer frightened him. They reminded him that humans were capable of enduring, adapting, and rising against any darkness. For the first time, he truly understood what it meant to be human. And in that understanding, he found not only strength, but hope. Ryan sat quietly in the observation chamber, watching the stars move past the wide windows of the Seralith station. The galaxy looked calm from here, peaceful and distant. Yet he knew the calm was fragile. Somewhere out there, the darkness waited. The memories he had unlocked weighed heavily on him, and the Council's words echoed in his mind. Knowledge could be dangerous. Even to him, Princess Era entered silently, carrying a small tablet with glowing symbols. She sat across from him, her expression serious. The Council has discussed your situation, she said. They believe your memories are too dangerous. They want to erase them. Ryan's eyes widened. Erase them, but... I have just remembered who I am. Why would they want to take that away? Era sighed softly. They fear the power within you. They believe that if you fully remember, the darkness may sense it and strike sooner. It is a risk. They do not fully understand humans. Ryan ran his hands through his hair, frustration and fear swirling inside him. So I have a choice. Keep the memories and face the danger, or let them erase them and be safe? Ira nodded. Yes, but you must understand this is not only about you. It is about everyone you care for. About the galaxy. Humans carry strength that other species cannot, Ryan. You can bear knowledge and survive even when it seems impossible. That is why the Council waited for you. That is why I waited. He leaned back, staring at the stars. The idea of erasing the memories seemed simple at first. He could forget the battles, the loss, the pain, and perhaps live a quiet life. But something inside him resisted. Those memories, as terrifying as they were, had given him understanding, purpose, and a sense of who he truly was. To erase them would be to return to ignorance. What if I fail? Ryan asked quietly. What if I cannot face the darkness when it comes? Ira reached across the table and placed her hand over his. You will not fail. Humans have a resilience that others cannot match. You carry the courage of countless lives. You will act when it matters, even if you do not feel ready. That is why you are human. Rian closed his eyes, thinking about the fragments of memory he had seen, the battles, the sacrifices, the victories, and the moments of connection with humans and Seralith alike. Every image reminded him that he was capable of more than he had ever imagined. He could not give that up, even for safety. He opened his eyes and looked at Era. I cannot let them erase my memories. If this is who I am, if this is what I carry, I have to keep it. I have to face whatever comes, even if it is dangerous. Era smiled, relief washing over her face. I knew you would choose that. That is why I trust humans, Rian. You do not simply survive. You rise even when the path is uncertain. The Council entered the chamber silently, their faces composed but serious. The elder with silver streaks in his hair stepped forward. Ryan, the decision is yours. We offer only a warning. To remember fully is to accept risk, not just to yourself but to the worlds around you. If you choose to keep your memories, you must accept the consequences, Rian nodded. I understand. I will not erase them. I will carry what I remember and use it to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The elder studied him for a long moment, then inclined his head. So be it, then we shall prepare. You will need guidance and allies. The darkness does not wait and time is short. Ryan felt a surge of determination. He had made his choice and there was no turning back. The weight of the memories was still heavy, but now it was a source of power rather than fear. He understood that humans were extraordinary, not because they were the strongest or the fastest, but because they could endure, adapt, and act with courage when all seemed lost. Era guided him to a training chamber. You will need to prepare, she said. Your memories give you knowledge, but your body must match it. You must learn to fight alongside the Seraph as you did before, even if it feels unfamiliar. The chamber was filled with holographic simulations of battlefields. Ryan stepped forward, his hands tightening into fists. The images of enemies, strategies, and allies shifted around him, and he began to practice movements he did not consciously know. His body responded instinctively, as if it remembered the motions from lives he had never lived in this one. Hours passed, and Ryan felt exhaustion settle into his muscles. Yet even as he grew tired, he felt stronger than he had ever been. Each movement reinforced what he had learned from his memories. The knowledge was not just in his mind, it was in his body and his instincts. Humans could carry more than one life, and that made them powerful in ways no one else could understand. Era watched him closely. Do not forget, Ryan, strength comes from more than skill. It comes from knowing why you fight and what you protect. Humans have always carried hope even in the darkest times. That is your greatest weapon, Ryan nodded. He remembered the faces of those he had fought with, the lives he had saved, the sacrifices he had witnessed. They were not just memories. They were lessons guiding him to become the person he was meant to be. Later, as he rested in the quiet of his quarters, Ryan reflected on his choice. The council's warnings were not unfounded. Keeping the memories meant danger, perhaps sooner than he expected. Yet he felt no regret. Every piece of knowledge, every fragment of experience was part of what made him human. Humans could face impossible odds and still rise. That was their strength. A soft chime announced Era's presence. She entered carrying 2 cups of a warm, fragrant drink. You are thinking too much, she said gently, handing him one. Even humans need rest. Your journey is only beginning and you will need energy, mind and body alike. Ryan smiled faintly. Thank you. I suppose even humans must take a pause before the storm. Era's eyes sparkled. Yes, and when the storm comes you will stand, Ryan. Not because you are fearless, but because you are human. That is enough. They sat in silence for a while, watching the stars. The calm of space was deceptive, but it gave Ryan a moment to center himself. He felt a strange sense of peace. He had chosen the path of risk, but also of purpose. To erase the memories would have been safe, but it would have been meaningless. He could not ignore who he was. Ryan finished his drink and stood looking toward the horizon of stars. I am ready, he said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. I will face what comes and I will not forget who I am or what humans can do. Era nodded. And you will not be alone. We will face it together. The darkness will come, but humans rise when all others fall. That is why you were chosen. Ryan felt a warmth spread through him. The choice he had made was not easy, but it had defined him. Humans were extraordinary not because of strength alone, but because they could carry hope, courage, and knowledge across impossible odds. He had accepted the responsibility. Now it was time to act. Outside, the stars continued to shine, distant and unyielding. Ryan knew that soon the calm would be broken. But for the first time he did not feel afraid. He was human. He carried the strength of lifetimes. And he was ready. The darkness would come. But Ryan would stand. The Seraph station trembled slightly as alarms echoed through its corridors. Ryan stood beside Princess Era, looking out over the edge of the docking bay. Ships were taking off in all directions, preparing to defend against the approaching threat. Far beyond the station, dark shapes moved through space, strange vessels unlike any human or Seraph design. The darkness had returned. Ryan felt the weight of his memories pressing against his mind. The fragments of battles, strategies, and sacrifices he had lived before surged together, forming a clarity he had never known. He was no longer just a pilot or a visitor. He was a human carrying the strength of countless lifetimes. We cannot let them reach the planets below, Aira said, her voice firm. They will destroy everything if we fail. Ryan nodded, feeling a calm determination settle over him. We won't let them. Humans survive even when all seems lost. I know we can stop this. Aira looked at him with admiration. You understand now why humans are different. You do not need to be the strongest or the fastest. You endure, you rise. That is enough. The dark ships drew closer, their forms twisting and shifting like living shadows. The Council's holographic displays showed their movements, their numbers, and their speed. Ryan studied them carefully, drawing on memories he had never consciously lived. He saw patterns, weaknesses, and strategies. His human mind, combined with what he had learned from the Serelith archives, allowed him to anticipate the enemy's moves in a way that no one else could. Prepare the fleet, he commanded, his voice steady. We will not wait for them to strike. We take the fight to them. Aira nodded and relayed his orders. Humans and Serelith crews moved with precision, trusting Ryan instinctively. He felt the strange satisfaction of knowing that this was familiar, not because he had done it in this life, but because he had done it in another. The fragments of memory gave him an advantage no one else had. The first wave of dark ships emerged from the void. Their energy beams lit up space, aiming to strike the Serelith fleet. Ryan moved through the command console, issuing orders with precision. Humans and Serelith alike followed his instructions flawlessly. Each maneuver felt instinctive, each calculation natural. Aira fought beside him, coordinating defensive patterns and activating the station's weapons. The battle was intense, but Ryan did not falter. His mind drew on centuries of experience he had never lived in this body, weaving strategies that allowed their forces to gain ground. He felt alive in a way he had never known before, every heartbeat aligned with the rhythm of battle. Suddenly, one of the dark ships broke through the defenses and moved toward the planets below. Ryan's memories flashed, showing him the consequences of hesitation, of doubt. Without thinking, he initiated a maneuver that redirected multiple ships to intercept it. The plan succeeded. The ship was destroyed before it could reach its target. Aira looked at him in amazement. Ryan, how did you know to do that? He smiled faintly, feeling a strange mix of exhaustion and clarity. I remembered. Not from this life, but from another. Humans carry strength in ways no one else can understand. We learn, we adapt, and we act even when the odds seem impossible. The battle continued for hours, but Ryan did not tire. He coordinated the fleet, led counterattacks, and saved lives on multiple planets. Each action drew on memories of bravery, strategy, and resilience. The darkness could not anticipate him because it had never faced humans in this way. Humans were unpredictable, adaptable, and determined. Finally, the dark vessels began to retreat. The Serelith fleet pursued them cautiously, but Ryan knew the danger was not completely gone. Still, victory had been won for now. The planets below were safe, and the immediate threat had been stopped. Aira approached him once more, her eyes shining. You have done what I hoped you could. You have shown them the power humans carry. You have survived and risen where others might have fallen. Ryan shook his head, feeling the weight of the memories in his chest. I did not do it alone. Humans endure, yes, but we do not act without purpose or allies. The Serelith stood with us. You stood with me. Together we made it possible, Aira smiled. And yet humans are unique. Your courage, your ability to endure, your strength of mind. It is different. That is why you were chosen. That is why you remembered what others could not. Ryan took a deep breath, feeling a sense of peace he had never known. He had faced the forbidden memories, embraced them, and acted on their knowledge. He realized that humans were extraordinary, not because of one skill or one life, but because they could carry hope, courage, and resilience across impossible odds. That was their gift. Will they return? He asked quietly, thinking of the darkness that had threatened countless worlds. They may, Aira replied, but humans will rise again. Your species survives when all else falls. You have proven that today. Even if the darkness returns, it will face humans who will endure, who will fight, and who will protect hope. That is enough. Ryan looked out at the stars once more, feeling the weight of his memories, his experiences, and his purpose. He realized that the galaxy was vast, full of danger and uncertainty, but also full of life worth protecting. He was no longer just a human from a small colony. He was a guardian carrying the strength of lifetimes, capable of rising when all others fell. He turned to Ira, a quiet smile on his face. Then I am ready. Whatever comes next, humans will rise, and I will stand with those who fight for hope, for life, for what matters. Ira placed a hand on his shoulder, her touch firm and reassuring. And we will stand with you. The galaxy has seen what humans can do, and it will remember. Your species is extraordinary, Rian. Not because of power, not because of speed, but because you endure. That is why you are human. As the stars moved past the station, Ryan felt the memories settle within him. They were no longer frightening or overwhelming. They were part of him, part of what made him human. Every battle, every loss, every victory was a lesson, a guide, a reminder that humans were capable of more than they could imagine. The darkness had come, and humans had survived. But more importantly, humans had risen. Rian looked toward the horizon, the stars stretching endlessly before him. He knew the galaxy was vast and dangers would come again, yet he no longer feared the unknown. He was human. He carried the strength of countless lives, the courage of uncounted battles, and the hope of all those who could not stand alone. And in that understanding, he found more than power. He found purpose. The stars were alive with possibilities, and Rian knew that humans, no matter where they began, could rise above any challenge. They could endure, adapt, and protect what mattered most. That was the gift of humanity, the answer to the darkness and the legacy he would carry across the stars. Rian took a deep breath and smiled. The galaxy was vast, but so was human courage, and he would make sure it shone brighter than any darkness could ever reach.